Okay, welcome everyone. We are live on the internet. We are streaming this. And the session that we are having now is GoPro VR 101. Please take your seats and please welcome Alexandre.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you first to the organization. They did really an amazing work this year. And there is not a single IVRPA that I'm not blown away by the picture everybody is doing, the video we are doing. We just had two great talks this morning. That is really amazing. So I'm here really, I'm not really a content creator anymore. I'm more the tools. I'm here to provide you the tools to be able to create all this amazing content that we just saw. And that's just my role here and my role within GoPro. And GoPro, during the past years, it has been really in the forefront of creating really all what we needed to be able to have amazing 360 content. In fact, it happened really without even GoPro knowing that this market exists. There have been some people that are probably in this, yeah, they are there, that discover that the fact we can put 6 GoPro together and with that create an amazing tool to create stories. That was IVRPA 2012 in New York. Jorgen did that, an amazing presentation that it's just the beginning of a new market. And during the last years, there have been several amazing content that has been created. So I just share some of the content that our media team did all around the world. So these are GoPro-based, all the GoPro-based content. They are still, this camera is still currently the best image quality for its size. That means it allows you to capture at the quality you expect. And when I see this type of footage, I'm really proud of what we can achieve currently with the tool that already exists right now. I think the pictures are just amazing. That's 4K currently. So on the details of this shot has been done, it's always the same setups. 6 GoPro put together, a good rigging to be able to hang it somewhere where the location is really important, because the narrative that you can create for a 360 video doesn't come by framing. You don't have framing here. It comes from the location of the camera. So that's why it's really key. Think where you want to put the viewer. The location of the camera is the location of the viewer, and that's what is about the storytelling currently with 360. Then it's about staging what's around you. Nevertheless, this is really great, but currently we are still having some pain point during the process. You probably saw some of the solution in the previous presentation. A gyro, really nice to be able to compensate rolling shutter. There are other pain points. Among them, synchronization is one of the most complicated, especially if you want to do it manually. Afterwards, you have to clap to be able to shake. There are all these solutions that already exist, but that doesn't get you the accuracy that is needed to get a really good shot. Whereas, if we solve that in the hardware, that is really a step forward for a better solution. And we worked on that aspect. You already know the product. It's called Omni. So I will take some time to talk about that product. It's a synchronized rig, meaning now the 6 GoPro works together. when you click Start, it's a true start for all other GoPros. There is a master. We identified it here with the white part. Anything you do here will be replicated to the other. You want to do some mode change? Just change it here, automatically replicated. Format the SD card, format it there, formatted also on the others. Everything is in sync. Moreover, it's not only in sync, it works like a single camera. And as it is a dedicated firmware, we remove also some of the common error that people were doing. How many times we get customers, I say, I cannot stitch. Why? Because 5 camera on one mode, the 6 on another mode. Or 6 on a mode that were not wide, meaning you have a hole in the footage, because in the not wide mode of the GoPro, you don't have enough field of view to be able to cover everything. So we solve all this problem that could be solved in the hardware. So professionally synchronized system. When I mean synchronized, it's really super accurate. 6 cameras act as a one. There, it's just a single camera. It's bigger, heavier, of course, but it's one camera now. Still the same image quality you do expect from the GoPros. Optimize the workflow, we'll talk later about that. It's really, we thought about the second really big pain point with managing multiple camera system is data management. That's so painful to be able to manage all the shots, to be sure, oh, is that the SD from camera 1? What sequence does it go to? That's really boring. New option that exists with this system. You can use the camera from the battery from the GoPro, or you can just plug a cable to wire them in a single way. So you have external powering. External powering is really efficient for 2 reasons. One, because you can have long time. A second, you don't have the battery inside the GoPro, meaning overheating is reduced because there won't be some heating coming from the battery of the GoPro themselves. It's external. It's aluminum. So aluminum is also really nice because with that layout, it also helps as a heat sink to be able to lower the problem that we can have with GoPro overheating. In our lab, that setup in a standard room at 22 degrees, it turns out to work just without any problem. 3 hours. We stopped after 3 hours because the SD were full, 64 gig each. If you don't know it yet, we thought about what could be the best option for you so you can start doing that. And we designed 2 packages. A full inclusive all-in-one package that has everything that you can think of to be able to already start producing. It's 5K, I would say. It has the GoPro Omni. It has the black camera. It has the battery, the mini USB cable, the charger, the SD card, the mini SD card reader that you will put in the USB hub, a really fast 7-port USB 3 hub, Swixtronics hypercore batteries, so that's the external charger. Everything is included, even the software, APG, AVP in that package. It's really, I think, a good deal. Just think about the price of 6 GoPro already. It's already half the price of the package. But as you are probably already users of AVP and already owners of GoPro, we thought it would be really efficient for you, cost effective, to have a second package, which is this one, just the Omni, just the waterproof shipping cases, plastic, microfiber, and the XK to be able to unscrew. You have AVP, you have the camera. You will need to flash the camera to convert them from the standard firmware to the Omni firmware, but it's really a better price. Another point, we also review a lot of accessories. In that area, and we saw that in the previous presentation, it's really mandatory to have several type of clamps, pole, and different options to be able to shoot better. At the end of June, we will launch a new website under the GoPro brand that will show all the optional part, accessories that we picked up from good manufacturers, like, for example, that pole, which is really interesting to be able to put on cars, for example. 15 accessories will be available as optional part, but they will have been tested in real conditions. So that's also a good news. Let's talk more about the workflow now with Omni. You are probably used to all of this software. So there's a new one here. It's called GoPro Omni Importer. And that's the software that will help you to manage a lot of the tasks while being on the stage. Data management, real-time preview, there are a lot of new options thanks to this software. Color AUTOPANO video, new options, improved workflow. We saw that in a few minutes. New stuff, NLA plugin. We had several discussions with our customers about different, what should we provide you to be able to be more efficient in your workflow. And it appears that many are going through Premiere, After Effects, or this type of software. And some action, some modification need to happen there. It's better for the workflow you are more used to. So that's why we decided to create a lineup of NLE plugin. The last but not the least, you probably are aware that we renamed our hosting platform that was on ace.color.com to GoPro VR brand. Also good stuff coming out of that website. Let me highlight the 4 columns. GoPro Omni Importer. This is how it looks like. The workflow, we had a lot of discussion internally. What should we do? An importer? Should we do a standalone software? And in fact, we looked how you were working. What is really important is that we allow the 2 workflow. The workflow of the naive beginners. I have some footage. I get my SD out. I plug everything. I should have a preview. And I should be able to create a stitch directly there. But I should also allow the one that is really the advanced user. I want everything to be really good, and I want to fine-tuning into AVP. So both workflow are allowed by this system. So what you do with that, output the SD, put it in the USB hub, it appears. You can just, without copying anything locally, preview the footage already. Everything is organized. Data management has been solved. Everything, if you have different sequences, they will be organized by that date, etc. And this is really nice. Second, calibrated stitching. We know the GoPro now pretty well. We know the shape of that. That means even in case of really black footage where you have nothing or low details, I can still get you a really good stitch at first time. I really like the design also. We'll show a video soon. And inside this system is also a strong batch rendering engine building. Let me quickly look. The video. So this is in our office. Each footage, you just click it, you can preview it. So the preview is not full resolution. We don't use the high resolution images. We just use the video thumbnail that comes. The GoPro always saves 2 files, a low resolution and a high resolution. That preview is based on the low resolution. You can select a range. On that range, you can decide what you want to do, color correction, stabilization, rendering, if you want. There are always two steps that are not illustrated here that are done for any footage, is copying locally and stitching. They are mandatory, so we didn't put a click that you need to click because it's mandatory. On the top, the title, if you click on the title, you can just rename your footage. So you can already at that stage organize everything, and it will copy locally and rename it with the new footage, and the project file will be ready. After that, once you have created start rendering, it will copy, stitch, do the optional part that you ask, but also save an AVP project file. That means click on that project file, it opens in AVP, and everything is ready with all the computation done on the ones you selected. That was also a feedback of the customer. Sometimes with AVP it's quite boring because you have to create a stitch, stabilize, create a stitch, and then compute the motion, for example. The motion can be long. So while doing that, you cannot really do anything else. So with this step there, the motion, you can calculate them before, and then you can just fine-tune the project. So when you are really in AVP now, after Omni Importer, you just fine-tune. You do not compute anymore, which is really quite an improvement into the workflow. AVP. We'll show you a quick video of what's new in AVP 2.5. And these are many of the feedback of our users. So this is Omni Importer again, with the batch rendering. You can see the different steps here. For example, is stitching. MP4 file merger. This has been a huge demand. The GoPro puts, I will let the video finish. Missing file finder, really great option. More stereo options. You can have now the interlens and compensate for that. One of the biggest demand, undo and redo. Yes, I know. And ProRes support in input and in output. An improved batch renderer. You can now organize the project there, save it, load it, reorganize. Really, really, really good. That's the line, the URL, and it's available now. So, to sum up, ProRes, oh, I forgot this one. Rolling shutter compensation for Omni footage. Missing video wizard, faster seller, Ctrl-Z, beta stereo, and a new one, Anala plugin. Anala plugin, as I said, many people are using that to stitch. Some only of you are using the authoring tab. The authoring tab, which is the tab that allows you from a 360 video to create a standard 2D video. And we really believe that in many situations, this is really important. The 360 video, it's nice to see in a HMD, in Oculus or whatever, or cardboard. But if we could have a high resolution enough 360 video, that could be a master for a cool full HD video that you can use in many situations. In fact, I think this is a new trend. It's framing at post-production, which is a new concept. So, to be able to do that, we created two plugins. First plugins, they are all called GoPro VR plugins for Premiere Pro. They are shipped within AVP, so you have it right now. They are free, they are included into the license of AVP. First one is Horizon. if you want to stabilize something, it's really, really efficient to do it this way. Especially with the way we did it with the interpolation of the rotation matrix. Doesn't seem a simple problem. It did get us some nightmare. But the same plugin can be used to put text in the spherical. Just use it reverse, which is really also a good stuff. And all this using Premiere. Second plugin is framing, reframe, we call it. It's exactly about that. How can I create a 360 2D video out of a 360 within Premiere? And using that plugin, we used our what we call our uniform shaders that does a smooth transition from linear to little planet. And this is how it looks like at the end. This has been done by just a few keyframes in Premiere. So to sum up, GoPro VR Horizon, Windows, Mac, CPU, GPU accelerated, of course. We don't expect you to wait. Get back the horizon, use it to put some text into the spherical. Really a good tool, easy to use. A lot of mathematics behind the scene to be able to get you really what you want, even for rotation of more than 180 degrees, which is a key problem with this type of plugins. Second one, GoPro VR Reframe, to create a 2D edit out of a 360. So it doesn't have exactly the same feature as the authoring tab from AVP, but trust me, it's far more easy to use inside this host platform that is Premiere for a lot of reasons. So that's really great. What is missing with that? We have hardware, we have stitching software, we have post-production. At some point, you need viewing. And one of the most popular viewer out there is KOLOR Eyes Desktop. So I heard many worries about the fact that this product can disappear. No, it won't. In fact, we continue to work hard on it. It's still free. It will be renamed. Next month, we will release a new version that looks like that. And to be able to get you all the new stuff that we are working on it. That's a software we really spend a lot of time to make a lot of optimization behind the scenes. We have some version that work at 6K 80 frames per second on the Oculus. When you have this type of resolution, you know what high quality VR experience mean. So you need the Oculus, latest generation is that. This is what we need to be able to get to the level of quality everybody wants. So we continue to support it a lot. We are doing several studies to be able to get you Vive support, the HTC Vive support. That is really also an awesome device if you have time to do that. We are doing a lot of good studies with Intel to be able to support more the GPU from Intel, which is mandatory for high-speed decoding. Intel is happy, apparently. You probably know that this software is linked also with a Mercury Transfer plugin for Adobe Premiere already. So if you install this one, you can install an optional analog plugin that gets you direct Oculus preview of the footage you are currently doing in Premiere. This is really one of the cool feature of that system. It's also really used if you have some exhibition, you want to show your footage there. Many people use it on a booth, and it's really light branded. You don't really see GoPro there, so continue to use it. We try to make it low on the brand, so you continue to have a good tool to expose your content. About exposing, of course, GoPro VR, our platform. So I won't promise anything here. There's YouTube, they have the audience. So for us, we cannot compete for that. So really, when you put your content on YouTube to be able to share it to people, to be able to convince, that's fine because audience is there. Our approach to hosting was really that one. We want something that has been built for VR. And built for VR meaning the best viewing experience first. And what I mean with viewing experience first, I will show you quickly this video. So that's the mobile application. I expect that you have all installed it already. So moving with the gyro, pretty easy. So you just do that, but the best feature is the pinch to little planet. And as soon as you have somebody to convince from the potential lead for your work, just doing that and you show everything on a mobile is the way to convince about your work first. And that's something that won't appear or didn't appear yet on Google or any other platform. So it's really, I think, a good and a nice experience. We have the iOS. We rebuilt from scratch the Android application. We are working on other on the other platform, Gear VR for sure, HTC, Oculus also. That will be a new experiences to be able to consume VR in this space. You probably saw that we organized that by vertical, by channel, sport, nature, family, etc. I think it's important to have that. For each category, but also for the headline, we have some people that are dedicated to find the good content and to put it in front of everybody. So it gets on the headline. So we have that aspect also. It's a uniformed account now. If you have already a GoPro account, that's the account that you will use to have ace.kolor.com GoPro VR new name used. Still, a lot of the old features that are available, many people were worried, I cannot upload local content directly on the phone to have it offline. In fact, you can, you still can. So just put the content there, you go to the local menu, and that's it. You can also do the reverse. If you want to have a content on several of your mobile phone, Android, iOS, upload it to the cloud, we transcode that, and for each of your content, you have a long tab option that allows you to download it locally on that phone, the one that you want. So even in offline, you can present your work. That's completely free, of course. Thank you. Where to find everything? Here are the different URL you need to have. Omni pre-orders, that's the URL. We had some issue with the initial launch of that. There were some bugs on the e-store, so you cannot really order for anywhere in the world. Now it should be solved. If you have problem, don't hesitate, come to us. AVP, I just showed the link. GoPro VR Player 2.0 Beta 1, beginning of June. If you want an installer, I have an alpha version, so I can share it with you, Windows or Mac. One note with Oculus. We spend a lot of work on the Oculus to be able to support the CV1, the latest, in fact, the official. So now we had to do 2 builds of the GoPro VR player, one for the old Oculus, DK1, DK2, and one for the new Oculus, that is different. So you will have 2 installers if you want to support the Oculus. And the VR platform, this is the one. This afternoon, we'll have another presentation. And tomorrow, we will have an in-depth AVP workflow workshop with Martin. I don't know where it is. Martin, can you raise your hand? Martin is our trainer there. So really, really good stuff. I think it's the good moment to have QA because I don't want to stand between you and the lunch. It's
Okay,
always dangerous, yeah.
Thank you very, very much for that. A round of applause, I think, first. Okay, first question.
Thank you, Alexandre. Could you explain more detail of rolling shutter reduction and synchronization function?
Sorry, I didn't really get it.
Could you tell me more in detail? Rolling shutter reduction system.
Rolling shutter reduction system.
Shutter.
Yeah.
And synchronization.
Sure.
Function.
So synchronization in this hardware has been solved. In fact, inside the box, it's not just a piece of cable. There are really a motherboard inside the box in the middle that allows you to do a lot of stuff. And yeah, there is some surprise inside. I will disclose one surprise. There is a gyro inside this box. So that means at some level, we will do really clever stabilization automatically because we have the data. And synchronization has been done in a way from the hardware level that gets you accuracy that is unbelievable. It's really super, super accurate. Nevertheless, when you look at some footage, and Ignacio, for example, had some footage done with this rig outside, it's sometimes you can still see there seems to have wobbles. These wobbles come from the rolling shutter first. And how can you distinguish rolling shutter from synchronization issue? You just look at a single video. As a single video, frame by frame, if you use QuickTime, you have the 2 hours, you can go frame by frame to the next. And sometimes you just found a frame that is just doing, it delays. So it means if there wouldn't have been rolling shutter, there is no reason why a building can delay really this way, scale non-uniformly. This doesn't exist in reality. This is typical of rolling shutter. So what we have done with the rolling shutter compensation is that we understand a bit of how it works, how the pixels are integrated under the sensor, and we compensate for that in a way. If you come from Omni, you have just a checkbox to click. We are still working on that feature. It improves the footage on many occasions, not all of them. We want to be really better than that as soon as we have finished with the gyro work.
Thank you, Alexander. It seemed like a huge step for all of us. Just one question. The rig looks a bit like the Explorer. My question with my experience with Explorer, it's the parallax question.
Yeah, of course. Parallax, I expected this question. This is the most complicated problem to solve at the post-production. We tackled that problem. I already saw to you some of our research last year at IVRPA about an automatic parallax correction system. We are still working a lot of this one. Expect some good news from us for end of this year. Automatic.
Next question, please.
Alexander, do we have a special link for us to buy it sooner or get it sooner before the rest of the people?
Great. Unfortunately, not because I cannot, they are not yet in production. We have pre-series. This is a pre-series. It's not a prototype. It's after prototype. You have different steps when you create an hardware. The real production will start beginning of July. We expect to ship end of July. We put on the website mid-August at most. It could be a bit earlier, which would be cool. Unfortunately, no, I don't have.
So I got a quick two-part question. I saw Cineform mentioned there, and you mentioned you've added ProRes on export. First part, does ProRes export work on Windows? And second part, if not, does Cineform work on export, especially with the NLE plugins?
Yeah, a really good question. So I need to explain a bit the technical there. So Cineform is our own format that has been created at GoPro, in fact. We support it in input and in output. It's an intermediary format that allows you to be really efficient on Windows and Mac. It's really a cross-platform, so it works pretty well. We are having Adobe team working with us since a long time on that format, so that means Premiere, just support Cineform out of the box, 8K, no problem. There is perhaps one bug with some AMD card within Premiere that have some issue to be able to wander in GPU activated to Cineform project, to the Cineform codec. We are working with them to solve that problem. So Cineform, it's a full cross-platform, over 4K workflow. It works pretty well. ProRes is in fact quite the same. That's Apple format. We support ProRes on Windows and Mac in input and in output. It's exactly the same. We don't want you to choose. You have the choice to make the choice for you, I would say. So you have the two workflow, both are active. The one I prefer, I would say, I prefer Cineform because next week we will launch a really cool stuff, is Cineform support directly within VLC. That means now you can play back Cineform high resolution, highly optimized playback in VLC. Free, of course.
Quick question here. So normally when we're importing in GoPro Studio, we go to Cineform. Is this happening automatically through Omni, or you can select it? It's not.
No. Yeah. Have some of you used GoPro Studio? Yeah, so apparently there has been this import nightmare, we call it, that all MP4 are first converted to Cineform before you can use it. No, that doesn't happen in our workflow. And in GoPro Studio, there will be some new version. You will see what we have done there. That step, of course, has been removed also.
And will we be able to export without GoPro Studio Pro in higher resolutions, or only if we have the Pro license?
I didn't get that one.
Well, so far, if you use other software, and if you don't have GoPro Studio Pro license, your export resolution is limited to HD.
So Omni is completely separated from that workflow. So that's
its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing. That's shipped within AVP 2.5. When you install AVP 2.5, you will have two icons on your desktop, and the second icon is Omni Importer. So completely separated workflow. Thanks.
Any further questions?
I'm hungry. I stopped.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, remember there is part 2 after lunch. We'll be returning in about 1 hour at 1:30.